Hello and welcome to another episode of Wheel of Horror, the podcast where two best friends spin a wheel once a week. It chooses the horror film and they discuss it. Today we're talking about 2007's Teeth, which was directed by Mitchell Lichtenstein. I'm your co-host Alec.
Eric?
Teeth. This one. This is your first time, right?
Yeah. I've avoided this movie pretty much my entire life.
You knew what it was though, right?
Yeah, I mean, I remember you and Mike telling me about it, like the synopsis when we were like juniors in high school. Like, hey, it's about this girl. She has like teeth in her vagina and she bites off cleaners and it's fun. Let's watch it at 2 a.m. and like eat some 12-hour-old pizza. That's what I remember of you guys.
Mike Valenti?
Kind of remember Mike talking me into it. It's weird.
Really? I feel like Will Raharjo told us about this, and I definitely watched it in high school. But this is your first time, right? You just knew about it. You just never saw it.
I knew about it, and to be honest, it was better than I thought it was going to be. I
Yeah,
know that's a hot take, but I never watched it, never needed to. I'm like, I don't know if I really want to, you know?
dude, I think this is like pretty good. I haven't seen it since I was 17 or whatever. Which
Yeah.
I thought this came out when we were like 14 or 15. I didn't think it came out when we were 17. So we must have found out about it like junior or senior year of high school.
That junior, I remember the trailer coming out, and then I don't know if it leaked early or what, but I'll say this. This is my take. It's not great. It is an original idea, and it's very hard to look away. It sucks you in. There's no doubt it sucks you in. There are low parts of the movie, but you want to keep watching.
Dude, I like it.
It's not bad. It's not bad. It's not amazing. It's not great, but it's definitely like lower budget.
Oh yeah. No, it's low budget, it's indie as hell, but yeah, it's not like the best movie, but you cannot compare this to anything else. I mean,
No.
originality is key here. It is a little there are some plot things that get a little weird, but overall, man, like for an indie movie, I think this one was a good one, and I'm surprised it didn't get any sequels or anything because like the way this ends, you're like, boom, she's like just getting started. But nope.
You could remake it now and make it a little more. I don't want to say realistic because I do think that there's some realistic parts to this movie, but you could do more with it.
Okay, we got to talk a lot then, because what wasn't
Yeah.
realistic about this? I thought, like, dude, do not remake this movie. Make a sequel to this movie and use the original girl.
Okay. We'll obviously walk through the plot, but for someone to be, I mean, aside from the opening shot with her brother, there has been one, two, three, four or five violently sexual advances on her within a week, which to me, I'm like, I don't care. I don't know. I don't know. I just feel like it's just too much at once. I get why they did it for the plot, but I don't know.
She gets two dudes that,
No, she gets Toby,
yep,
who forces himself,
yeah,
her
yeah.
brother, who technically forces himself, and
Mm,
it's like it's forcing himself because it's your brother, and she kind of plays into it. The guy at the end, which we'll talk about, like the old man, the other one who just did it to like tell everyone or whatever, and then
yeah.
there's the gynecologist. There's five.
Okay.
Oh, it's a lot. It's a lot at once. It's my like, okay, this is way too aggressive. And also the bullying. There's a scene where she's like walking the class and it's like everyone was like, all right, I'm prepared to bully her the second she walks by. And like, it
Yeah.
was it was just to me, it was a little too much. There's some overacting scenes. There's some lines where I'm like rolling my eyes a bit, but it's 2007, low budget. I give it a pass, and I think, like you said, originality and there's nothing like this. And this is what I was saying about I Can't Look Away. I wanted to know how it ended. It did. That's the type of movie this is. It's like you don't just walk into this movie and it's like, okay, how does it end? And yeah, we'll get into that.
Yeah. So I disagree with you a little bit. I think that she was sexually assaulted once. She learned about her power and then basically was able to use that power to get revenge on the people that she wanted to, like her brother, like that old man at the end. But yeah, we'll go through the plot because I see it a little differently.
Sure. It might not be five, but there was three people that were going to advance on her, like aggressively, unwantedly.
Okay. All right.
Three, at least three.
we'll talk through each one and we'll be able to get to it. But yeah, the movie takes place in Texas. They never really say that, but it was shot in Austin, takes place in Austin, and starts off with like a nice little overview of just like the community and everything like that. But you see that these two like nuclear
Simpson, like straight out of the Simpsons, right?
yeah, you see that these two nuclear like towers basically that are just sending fumes into the air or whatever. So we don't know what that is, and they never really acknowledge it, but obviously I think that's why she has the teeth vagina.
Yeah, well, they have the intro scene with all the with the credits and stuff, with all like the mutation of cells and stuff.
Was that before or after the scene I'm talking about?
That was so it starts off literally the opening shot is the Simpsons nuclear power plant, and
Right.
then it has the opening scene with you don't know it's her brother right away.
It's not her brother.
I thought it was
It's her stepbrother.
stepbrother.
Yeah.
Boom. That's where I was confused.
So yeah, it cuts away down to from the power plant thing to the family, and you see a little girl and a little boy in a tub in the front yard in a little pool, and then a guy and a woman just sitting there drinking and kissing on the lawn or whatever. And yeah, he says the line like, that's gonna be your sister one day. He's like, I hope not. And like, so they're implying that they're dating right now and they have two young kids. And the little boy gets his finger snapped. We don't know what it is. He says the line, I just showed you mine, let's see yours or whatever, and then his finger's bleeding. So from what we everybody knows about the movie, the girl's got vagina teeth, but for some reason her mother doesn't know. Nobody knows about this but her. And even in this scene, we don't know how he got his finger bit. We assume it was her mouth, but we don't know. So then we get the credits you're talking about. So yeah.
I mean, it's just like a bunch of cells, like clearly something's going awry during the opening scenes, the opening credits. That's all.
Yeah, it's like a mutation. It's almost like the X-Men opening. It's got like a couple cells and then one gets like eaten by something else.
So it's definitely they're alluding to it's a nuclear power plant, and also we learn late, like shortly after her mom's sick. So
Yeah.
clearly there's, I mean, maybe just don't live 200 yards away from nuclear power exhaust towers. I don't know.
It's scary though, dude, because like Black Point,
It's not far off, man. That's not too far away from the water.
I know, and everybody says it's safe, and who knows?
My grandpa worked there, Millstone. He lived to like 80, 83, 84. So, I mean, he worked there. So, or
Yeah.
went there a lot, at least.
So who knows? I mean, who knows? But yeah, so this girl has a mutation. We think it's because she's living next to this power plant. Her mom, yeah, gets sick again, probably from the power plant. But the dad is from Twin Peaks. What it do? What it do? Hey, hey, hey.
Pride of Twin Peaks.
Yeah, Brad Twin Peaks. So yeah, so then the movie actually gets going and it starts off at like it's like a Christian just abstinence fucking rally.
Assembly. It's assembly for kids. It's an assembly. Like it's for like Christian. Like I imagine that's like a school or Christian camp where they're just having her talk about purity rings, pretty much.
Yeah, so this is one thing I don't really understand because it's not like her family's into this. She's the only one that's into this. So she just happened to get into this abstinence Christianity thing. Her mom and dad aren't into it. That I don't understand.
I think she subconsciously knows somehow
Maybe.
she's different because of A, that little kiddie pool scene, which is traumatizing for anyone.
Yeah.
So she probably subconsciously thinks that, but also she has to know. She has to know she probably doesn't feel natural. So like this purity ring thing is her crutch to move forward
Uh,
with being pure is kind of how she is.
the thing is, she doesn't know she has teeth in her vagina, though.
Subconsciously, she has to.
Maybe subconsciously, but yeah, she doesn't. So she just, yeah, so she's like preaching abstinence, but it would make more sense if her parents were like that, and then maybe the brother was the outcast. But all of the parents and the brother are not like into this, but she is. So I don't. Yeah, I
Mm.
mean, if she knew about the teeth, it would be a great cover up because she's like, perfect. I'll just latch onto this abstinence thing. I'll pretend I'm Christian and nobody will mess with me or whatever. But that's not what happens. She's just kind of like organically or subconsciously steps into this thing that's very convenient for her.
Yeah, and this is the second time I've only heard of purity rings through the Joe Bros, the Jonas Brothers, and the Disney episode, not the Disney, the South Park episode with the Jonas Brothers about the purity rings. Like, I got a ring on my finger to remind me what I cannot do.
Yeah.
And this is the second time I've never heard of that otherwise. So this must think a 2007 to 2010 thing. I've never heard of purity rings.
It's a southern thing. It's like a really Christian southern thing. But in
Okay.
Texas or Louisiana or Arkansas or whatever,
Like Florida, would Florida, is that way like Disney was pushing rings or purity? I think she called them promise rings in this, right?
I think they're purity. They're no, because they say purity a bunch.
I thought she said it was a promise ring that you
I don't
make the
know.
promise and then
It's either one, but it implies the same thing. And yeah, that's it's insane because the problem with this movie, and maybe it's because it takes place in Texas, but yeah, she's at her assembly and she's saying like, you never have sex ever or touch yourself or even think about touching yourself until you meet your husband or wife. And it's like, all right, this is pretty
no.
unrealistic, and you're not even explaining what could it. I don't know. Abstinence, yes, it's the safest way to do it, but you need to
Yeah,
educate yourself on what the hell is going on.
I don't know.
And the other thing, really quick later in the movie, we'll get to this a bit more, but even the school blocks out the vagina. Like, what?
With a sticker that if you take the sticker off, you destroy
Yeah,
the book.
what the fuck is I don't know if that's real, but if that is, that's crazy.
We'll get into that. We'll get into that. So it goes from her giving the assembly, and then obviously she's very attractive. So coming from her, it's like the kids are looking up to her and being like, "Wow, she seems cool," and she seemed like she was like in a cool outfit. And then she's bike riding home, and she's very innocent and pure. And then she meets what's his name right after the assembly, Toby.
Yeah, he's the new kid in town and he's into this religious thing too. He's, all about it, but he clearly has a crush on her. She sees him in the audience and she clearly has a crush on him. And all of her friends and him, they all start hanging out. They all go to school together. And you're right when she walks into school, she gets bullied immediately. I don't think that's
Yeah.
that crazy. I really don't think that's that weird. Like, I wouldn't like that. And if I saw that, I'd be like, what the fuck? But I think a girl that's going around telling everybody not to have sex and do drugs, that girl's probably going to get picked on in high school.
She was bombarded. And from my high school experience, the bullying wasn't so like name calling and shouting at people like you're a virgin. It was always behind backs and just people talking.
Yeah.
Like never like you would never call this person like you're poor. No, you just talk to your friend about it. But that's like how the bullying was because you know that everyone knows that or something. You know what I mean? I don't know how to describe it. It was like not passive aggressive bullying, but like bullying that was pass. I don't know. I can't think of it. But that's what I remember our high school being. Like a lot of people would just talk amongst each other and never like call people names.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. This is Texas. It might be different, but we were in high school at this time, and yeah, I don't remember any like overt sort of bullying like this. But if they know they're not going to get in trouble, like in Avon, it was pretty liberal, and if you did anything, you probably get in trouble or caught, or somebody would say like, "I can't believe you said that," and the parents would get called. Then this place looked like a pretty poor. I mean, dude, it's next to a nuclear power plant. Like it's probably a pretty poor area,
Well,
and
that's the thing too. She comes home to her parents, and what does she say about the assembly? It's like it's a job, and I got to eat today. Did she say that?
yeah, she's like they had food or whatever.
She's very poor.
Yeah, so yeah, and dude, she's riding her bike everywhere. She doesn't have a car, and that guy lives in his garage. Like, dude, everybody, this isn't a nice area. So I doubt bullying is like at the forefront of like the priorities, but who knows? So she gets very bullied, very upfront. But there is one kid who looks at her, and this was I kind of don't like this because this kid at first he really seems like he's into her. I think his name is oh boy, I can't remember. Oh my God, I want to find his name. I think it's Ryan, I think. Anyway, so there's a guy that has a crush on her and he like talks to his friend. He's like, that's her. It's like, why don't you go talk to her? And then they all bully her and he's not able to talk to her. It's not Toby, it's another guy that likes her. And it seems like he genuinely likes her. It doesn't seem like he's like, they don't mention anything about a bet right there or like, dude, you got to break her purity or whatever. Like, they don't say that at all. He just seems like he likes her and he's kind of awkward or whatever, but he's not involved in the bullying. And then Toby, the girls, all the friends or whatever, they go on like a movie date or whatever, and they start to feel a lot of chemistry. They're really starting to like each other, and it scares Dawn because she starts having like masturbating sessions where she's thinking about marrying Toby and she almost touches herself, but she doesn't because she's like, this is wrong or whatever. So that's why I think she's never masturbated before. So she doesn't know she has teeth down there because touching herself down there would be considered a sin in her eyes. So she never would have touched herself. But then she tells Toby like we shouldn't hang out or whatever. But then she's like, fuck it. Oh no, Toby, wait, what happened? Toby called her. No. She goes to the lake and she's like, I gotta see you or whatever. And he fucking guns it over to her.
Well, they also like went to the movie together, and he's with her, and she says this line that, I mean, my eyes hurt, so I went blind for like 3 minutes, rolling my eye in back of my head, and then I had to adjust my eyeball because she said we're so in sync, and like it was so brutal how head over heels she is for him, and how they look like the perfect couple. Like if they can
Eh.
live together and not, then that's perfect for each other. That's what she wants, which is so hard in today's world and whatnot. So she's loving it, and then the late call happened, and yeah.
The repression is gonna drive her crazy, dude. Because she even says when they go to the movies, they're like, "Oh, there's an R-rated movie. It's like we shouldn't see that." But even the PG-13 will have like making out, which is wrong. It's just like you can't do anything. Like you can't even make out or like so. Yeah, you're gonna go insane thinking about any. And dude, she's fucking jacking off to marrying this guy she just met. Like that's how like, out of her mind she is.
Yeah, and I'm trying to remember the order of events too, because this movie does kind of blur together. So did Toby admit to her that he isn't a virgin yet? Or is that before or after the lake?
No, it's oh, I think they go to the lake, but then I can't remember if they go to the lake like as friends and then they leave and then they come back again.
See, this a lot happens in this movie very quickly. Well, here, the cave scene, he had to have told her that before the cave scene.
Yeah, he said like I'm still pure in his eyes or something like that. Like he says something like that.
Because he's not a virgin, and she still's like, well, I think that you're coming back stronger by like facing this,
Yeah.
which is
Yeah.
also a good like plot point too, because he's so on edge and so pent up
Right. Yeah, yeah.
because he knows what it was, but he then decides to like, I'm not going to do it anymore, and it's like it comes out pretty bad in that cave. But keep going.
Yeah, he goes like straight edge. So yeah, he does admit he's had sex, but he's like, fuck, I fucked up. So but yeah, they say that they're really into each other, but they can't see each other anymore. But then Dawn calls him and is like, "Come to the lake." He drives over there like a madman. She's like, "I got my
Yeah.
bathing suit," and it's like, "Let's go swimming." They go swimming. They kind of kiss a little bit. Dawn seems like okay, like this is okay. Like I like him, he likes me. We're kissing. It's okay. He squeezes her boob. She's like, "Purity." Like no purity, and he's like, "Fuck." So then they go swimming. They find a little cave which has like, dude, a sleeping bag in it. That must be the nastiest sleeping bag ever. But they like get in it
Oh
still.
God, I know.
It's like, how did somebody even get that out there? So, I mean, maybe they rode a boat out there and they left it out there, and then everybody that's been there, animals, rain, anything, it's probably moldy and full of shit.
Even before the cave, the rope swing looked nasty. It looked like kind of moldy and mildewy.
Yeah.
And I have something to admit. I messed up my fingers really bad. I caught my hand in like a rope swing, like in 2005 or six, and one of my fingers was like kind of bent the other way and swollen. And then like 2 months later, we were out on Billy's boat, and you guys were all like, "The hills have Eric fingers," and that really hurt my feelings. So I just wanted to bring that out in the podcast. People don't forget.
Okay. Well, I'm
Don't bully the hills have Eric fingers. Fingers. I know you guys are laughing at me, but I'm like, my fingers are fine.
are your fingers better now?
No, they're so bad. They're so
Oh,
bad.
all right.
I got stomped on playing rugby, and yeah, they're okay. They're okay. I'll show them to you next time we're together, and you'll be like, yeah, not good, Eric.
Yeah, I didn't remember seeing them.
The hills have Eric fingers
I
too.
know. I know we did say.
I'm kidding. I just had to say that, but the rope swing just reminded me of that story. Good times.
I was looking at the rope swing too, and it does remind me of Farmington River a bit, but they were both pulling up on the rope together, and I was like, that would probably break. Like two full people pulling up on it
Yeah.
together, but whatever, that's so minuscule of a thing. But yeah, so then they get to the cave, and this is one of the more intense scenes in the movie. But I mean, honestly, from here it pretty much just kind of escalates. And yeah, he forces himself on her. He's like, you don't have to do anything, and he pushes her down and he hits her head, and he's like, she's like, no, I said no or whatever, and he's still just going for it. And we find out that yeah, she's got teeth in her vagina, and she bites his dick off in half. And he's screaming, he's freaking out. He runs, he jumps into the water and starts to swim away or whatever. And then she finds like half of his dick in the cave that, yeah.
Which is a good looking penis for losing all the blood. and has still some
Oh,
solid girth to it. I mean,
oh my
good for
God.
Toby. That sucks. That's a big loss for Toby.
Yeah, dude. I watched this movie on a plane in the middle seat.
Wait, did anyone else see you watching this? Like,
So there's like this old guy next to me, and then there's this girl sleeping next to me. So I was like, what? And then anytime something like this happened, I like took my phone and like put it really close to my face, and I was like, fuck, fuck, fuck.
oh,
But
you watch it on your phone.
yeah,
Okay, yeah. There's ways to like dim it and hide it from you.
yeah, like I tried to like arch it away when like the penis biting was happening, but yeah.
That's so funny. I mean, this might be one of the worst movies to watch on a plane with people around you.
Well, I was like this or like Final Destination. That'd be like really bad because that's like a plane crash. But
Alive.
yeah, that would be bad too. And the penis, that's the first penis bite. The first time we find out that, yeah, she's got teeth in her vagina. Everybody knows that going in, but you're still like, ooh, like shit. And yeah, so we never see Toby again, and she swims away and she's like, okay, he probably just ran away, but he left his car. So she's like, oh, he probably like I don't know what she's thinking at that point. But he's dead. But she doesn't know that.
He bleeds out. There's no way
Yeah,
he's
yeah.
surviving. That's like that would happen.
Ah,
And this happened exactly at the 37-minute mark. What happened?
no, that sucks. Like
Oh,
just
I thought you were like something happened with the recording.
no, just like fuck.
I
Like
thought you were like, fuck, I fucked up the recording.
no, his dick.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So he
Yeah, he
dies.
died. He bleeds out. There's no doubt. Because
Yeah.
he's probably freaking out, like, oh, I'm so embarrassed. But at the same time, like, I need to go to the hospital. Like, what do I tell them? Like, he's probably like, what happened? And also, I just raped someone. So he's probably all messed up. Oh, I mean, he's a mess.
He doesn't even make it out of the water. He probably bled out before he even got to the land. So yeah, he dies and sinks to the bottom of the thing, but we don't see it.
This is exactly at 37 minutes in. And we haven't even talked about the brother that much, Brad.
Yeah, yeah. So the brother, okay, really quick, I'll beep out his name because I can't even remember his last name. But dude, doesn't he look like that kid we went to high school with? He was a year younger than us. He was friends with like,
Yeah, cut this part out, but yeah.
dude, he looks so much like him. But
Yeah.
but no, but like that kid was super nice. Like this guy's a piece of shit. So it's her stepbrother.
Yeah, he bullies her in the shower and like he like I got you, and then he like shoots a gun at her wall all night, like a BB gun. And
Yeah.
then obviously this guy is deeply traumatized by his finger being bitten, that he is taking drugs now to numb the pain, and his whole personality is about that moment.
Seems like it.
Right? Like that's what like he became like I'm never gonna be okay after that. Right?
Yeah, I mean, yeah,
And his sideburns are so bad.
he's crazy. He's got like death metal playing all the time. Black is all over his room. He's got a dog.
Yeah, his bedroom definitely smells like ashtray porta potty on a hot day.
Yeah, he's a bad guy. It doesn't seem like he has a job, and he's got this dog that like he abuses called Mother, and yeah, so he's got some issues.
He's got some real past issues that he hasn't faced
And he has like a girlfriend, I guess, and he only will have anal sex with her.
because he's still traumatized.
Yeah, so and I was like, that's interesting because yeah, I was wondering towards the end of the movie, I was like, oh wait, is he gonna like like I don't know. But so yeah, so he has a weird girlfriend, he's got a dog, he's a piece of shit, and he plays loud music all the time, and the mom's sick and he like doesn't care, and it's yeah, it's fucked up. So he's just a bad guy. And yeah, so then she's freaked out. Dawn's all freaked out because she's like, I don't know where Toby is. And everybody's like, oh yeah, Toby's gonna come to this event or whatever tonight. And she's like, have you seen him? It's like, no. So she still doesn't know where he is, if he died, if he ran away, like what happened. But she has to go to one of her purity speaking events or whatever, and she's like messed up from it.
Also, don't forget she hit her head, so she's probably all kind of messed up too.
Yeah.
Not that she hit her head, he hit her head into the rock.
She's a completely different person from this
Yeah.
point forward. I mean, yeah, her head is hit. She was sexually assaulted. She finds out she has teeth in her vagina. She like broke her purity.
Yeah, there's a shot right after where she's like sitting and like contemplating what happened and having like this dark moment. And I honestly think the movie, if it was longer in that 37-40 minutes, that could have ended right there.
Oh, I hope not.
No. I like what they did, but like that was a thought I had.
No, yeah, I wish it was longer, this movie, but Yeah, so then she's like has to give the speech at this thing, but she's like not she's fucked up. She's all messed up. So she's hearing voices and she's hearing the kids like chanting different parts from the Bible and repeating things and she's like hallucinating essentially. The other kid from the beginning that doesn't bully her, I think his name is Ryan, but I don't know. And he goes up and he like wants to go on a date with her, so he drives her back from this event that she just spoke at. He went to the event to watch her, and then is at the end is like, hey, like let me give you a ride home or whatever. And in the drive home, he asks her out, and he's like, hey, do you want to like go on a date? Like I kind of like you or whatever. And she's like, oh, that's so funny or whatever. And he walks out, and he freaks out. He's like, why is this so fucking funny? And he like drives back or whatever, opens the door. Dawn's gone. The brother answers the door and punches him in the face because he's very protective of his sister because he's in love with her. And so this guy's like really like has no idea what's going on. And at this point, I still think this guy's intentions are good. I'm not under any impression that he's trying to like do a she's all that or whatever. And I think that's a movie and like is has a bet or whatever. I don't get that impression at all.
I think he's just bragging. I don't think there was a bet. I think he was just bragging.
Yeah, I just dude,
Kiss and tell. It was let's a kiss and tell kind of shit. That's all he was doing. I don't think there was like, there's no way you're gonna crack that egg, man. No way. That
well,
probably that a little bit, but I don't think it was a bet. I think he was just like, guess who I just slept with? It's like, no way, bro. Oh my God, it's so cool. I think it's that.
it becomes that, but at this point, up until this point in the movie, to me, he's like a fucking John Hughes like nerd kid, and there's nothing to me that's like, oh, he's an asshole, or his friend's an asshole, but he's not. But yeah, later on we find out he is. But at this point, he's punched in the face. He asks her out. She kind of laughs at him, and he's like super confused. So then Dawn goes to the gynecologist and is like, I got to figure out what's going on. She tells the gynecologist, like, I think there's something wrong with me. He starts to get way too handsy with her. He sticks his hand like pretty deep into her. And then it bites the guy's hand off, and he freaks out or whatever. And she's like, okay, there's definitely something fucked up with me. So she leaves.
But he aggressively raped her technically. Like, I mean, it's yeah. He
Yeah.
gave her sedative and yeah, very bad.
So the gynecologist goes to the hospital later and gets his fingers reattached, and he doesn't tell the people what happened at the hospital. So then she's really concerned because she knows Toby's dead. She knows she just bit this guy's hand off. She goes home to her house, and her mom is sent to the hospital because she fell over from being sick, and the brother doesn't do anything about it. So she like dies. So she has to go to the hospital, and she actually dies. So Dawn is like completely destroyed right now. And she goes to that guy, that nerdy guy's house that has a crush on her, and he lives in the garage. And right before this, she looks up about online what this is, and it's called vagina dentata, and it's apparently in every religion all across the world throughout history. There's been vaginas that have teeth in them, and she just happens to be one of these people. And the way that it gets beaten is by a hero that can conquer it or whatever. So to me, it seems like if she wants to have sex, the teeth go in. And if she is being assaulted, the teeth instinctually bite or she controls it or whatever. That's kind of what I got from this scene because, yeah, she does sleep with this guy and they're able to have sex and it works and everything's fine. And yeah, the next morning she's going to the police. She's like, I'm going to tell the police I did this. And he's like, oh, come on, let's have sex one more time. And then this is the part where it's like, okay, he is an asshole. He's getting a phone call while they're having sex. He answers it and it's his friend. And he's like, yeah, dude, I'm having sex with her right now. And he's like, no way. And then, he hears Dawn. He's like, no way. So he then tells her while they're having sex that, yeah, like, I told them I could break your purity or whatever. And I'm like, why didn't we see that scene then? Because this feels like it comes out of nowhere to me. This is like the first moment we find out this guy is a dick, really, right here.
Yeah, it seemed like a little out of place that like he was so like nerdy and cool, and then yeah, went and did that.
I don't know. So he becomes a scumbag at this point. And if his friend never called him, who knows? He might have gone away with it and everything would have been whatever. But she then instinctually bites his dick off. He's freaking out. He goes to the hospital, gets his dick reattached. And at this point, Dawn is like, all right, I know what I can do now. So I'm going to go kill my stepbrother or bite his dick off too because he let my mom die. And she goes in there and they have this scene where the brother's just like, I've been waiting for you, I've always loved you or whatever, and let's do this or whatever. So he bends her over as if he's trying to, go for her ass, and she's like, no, look at me or whatever. And they start going at it, bites his dick off. Oh, and we have also forgot earlier in the movie the dad and the son getting like a fist fight in the bedroom because he's like, I should have kicked you out years ago or whatever. Because yeah, he killed his wife. So there's that scene where they fight and they see the dog is like, okay, the dog is, ready to go and defend this Brad guy.
Yeah, yeah. I love this.
And yeah, so then later on, while they're having sex, bites the dick off, and then the dog comes out and eats his dick off the floor. And it's like it has like a piercing through the tip of it, and you're just like, oh my God. And yeah, so then Dawn leaves the house, meets a hitchhiker.
It like gets picked up at like some mini mart gas station.
Yeah, and picked up by this old man who's just disgusting and is like, licking, like making licks at her, and then she
Ugh.
smiles at the camera, and it's like, all right, let's cut let's bite this guy's dick off too.
I know that was a, I mean, what an ending.
I loved it. I mean,
I thought the ending was really good.
yeah, and it just is like there's so much room from here because like yeah, she knows what she can do. There's nobody like, she's beautiful. If she uses her sexuality, she could get like the worst guys to have sex with her and then bite their dicks off. Like it's a good idea. But yeah, I mean, overall, this is super original, super weird. Definitely made like a cult impact because of just like who would have thought of something like this, a teeth in the vagina, but I don't know. It's got weird moments. It's not perfect, but I think this is like a B minus movie or like even like a almost a B, What would you give it?
I give it a B. Solid B.
Yeah, it's not a masterpiece, but for $2 million, I think this is pretty good. This is better than a lot of shitty movies we've watched.
Yeah. Oh, no doubt. And I'll run through the stats real quick. This movie came out January 19th, 2007, our junior year of high school. Runtime an hour 34, nice and quick. Its budget was 2 million, like you just said. Its box office, what I read was 2.3 million, so it's made its money back. I don't know how much advertising it did or marketing, but it seems like it broke even. Rotten Critics score was 80%, which is really good for critics, and Rotten Audience was 45. So I feel like a lot of the people that wanted to see this were like, not for me.
Yeah, well, I mean, it was an indie film. I mean, it's super weird. So I don't think I wouldn't expect this to make a lot of money, but I think on DVD and the word of mouth, I mean, this has almost been 20 years. And this is if you say like, have you seen Teeth? People are like, no, but I know what it is.
Yeah, and I'm happy I finally saw it. So yeah.
So now that we've talked through it really quick, so yeah, I agree with you. Obviously, Toby's, and that's can't even debate that. Toby attacked her, and then the gynecologist definitely got way too handsy with her. But the next three people, I don't consider those. I think those were all things that she wanted to do. She wanted to have sex
One
with the
last
guy.
one. One last one was the guy who wouldn't let her leave the car, Alec.
Oh yeah, but she wanted to do that though. Like she,
No, no. She wanted to hitchhike, and then all of a sudden she was like, "Oh, okay, he wants to do this. Well, he's gonna get."
yeah, no, you're right. You're right.
So that's three, Alec. And then it was a short. So I'll give you the three. The other one was the guy who was a douche, and then who's the fifth? There's five. The brother,
The brother, she wanted to do that too.
stepbrother.
Yeah.
Eh, still like not good. But we'll give it a three wildly inappropriate. Yeah, I don't even know how to phrase it, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we probably should have had a girl on the podcast as a guest for today, because
She
like,
would be like, "Yeah, they're all pieces of shit." I
yeah,
bet.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, exactly. I'm sorry, I shouldn't have said she wanted that last guy at the end, but I think she wanted to bite his dick off once she saw that he was a piece of shit.
No, no, because she found purpose finally.
Yeah,
She's
yeah,
like,
yeah.
I'm put on this earth to stop men like this.
All right, yeah, check it out. I think this is worth seeing, and I hope they make a sequel to this. I would definitely see a sequel to Teeth, and with this Dawn coming back and what she's been up to, like I'm so down.
How about It Follows meets Teeth? Boom.
Oh God,
Super multiverse right there.
that sounds awful, but
Terrible. That's too much. Yeah, that's too much. Happy I finally saw it. And being a sex ed teacher is the worst job in the world. I don't care what anyone says. That guy who was like the vulva, like, oh God. and I couldn't pay me enough. Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, you ready to spin the wheel?
Anyway, spinning the wheel, spinning. Oh, another sequel. Another sequel. We got Pumpkinhead 2.
It's so crazy it's taken this long to cover that.
Huh, that was our first one we've ever done, I think.
It was like the ninth, but we'll get into it on that episode. But yeah, this is way overdue. So
First wheel. Sorry, I'll rephrase that.
yeah, but hey, this is a very yeah. All right, well, everybody, thank you very much for listening into our discussion on teeth, and we will see you next week with Pumpkinhead 2.
Pumpkinhead.
Pumpkinhead.
Woo! All right, I gotta go to the bathroom. We'll be back.